both record and broadcast?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so real basic, what will be covered over the next 10 weeks. And it's more than 10 weeks because we've committed to do once a month at the 3 Jewels, Introduction to Buddhism, Buddhism 101, which I've volunteered to do without a curriculum, which I like. Every Thursday, one Thursday a month. The next one is February 20th, yeah? But if you're in ACI 8, don't leave. Keep coming. So I might not cover the content of ACI 8, but you'll get a really good, healthy discussion as if you've never heard of Buddhism, with people that haven't ever heard of Buddhism. And
is your mom going to be here?
My mom is here every month. Yeah. And it's lovely because you get to remember what you have now taken for granted when people talk about the way that they engage with these ideas. An explanation of something, and that something other people give other names to. So 2 things that I'd like to cover before we start. Number 1, if you are coming to this class and you have this new program online called Facebook, if you have Facebook, please go to the event and tell us you're coming, because any updates will go via the Facebook event. You'll get an update saying this Thursday is the Buddhism 101. You'll get a copy of the videos you can download. You get a redirect to all the material. And that happens all the time, but we never talk about it, and it just occurred to me, maybe we should talk about it, right?
So where can I find this Facebook thing?
The Facebook thing is on the computer, yeah. And you go to the computer and inside you ask for internet. Once you have internet inside your computer or the telephone, then yeah, you've got to dial some number to get to it. Does that help you?
I'll try. I'll ask my little brother.
Good one. So please use Facebook. We're using Facebook for this course just as a reference point. Who's coming? You'll get a reminder. If there's a cancellation, you'll get a cancellation. You'll get to see every video. You'll get to connect to the download material, and you'll also see who else is needing to know or connect with. You can connect with them.
Is that the 3 Jewels Facebook? Or
Which face? Yeah.
Yeah, you can look up on Facebook. You can just search ACI 8 Hector Marcel, or you can search Death in the Realms, or you could go to the 3 Jewels, and it's an event under the 3 Jewels.
It's an event, yeah.
Okay.
So the virtual 3 Jewels on the Facebook has a virtual event, which isn't the real event. This is the real event. This is us in the real event, okay? We are not in Facebook yet. Okay, so we got that? So I encourage you, please like the 3 Jewels Facebook page and connect to the event. That'll remind you. And then we'll use the same basis to do ACI 9. Which brings me to point number 2. Point number 2 is, in just 10 days? No. 11 days or something, 10 days, 11 days. His Holiness Geshe Michael Roach, for some, is coming to New York. He is the reason we are sitting in this room like this. We could be sitting in this room like something else, but the reason we're sitting like this with this information is because this being spent the entirety of his human existence, or as human as it appears, dedicating his mind and heart to internalizing it and sharing it, internalizing it and sharing it. And then we connect to it and make a thing out of it for us. But this being will be in New York, in the place where all this started, and I feel a burden of responsibility this year, a beautiful burden of responsibility, a glorious burden of responsibility to try and make him feel like he's never felt like before in New York. My experience of him coming to New York in the last few years has been, hey, Geshe Michael's coming. Can you fundraise for us at the 3 Jewels and get us some money? Can you please look after us with this? Can you please? And it would be lovely, like we would do with Ken Rinpoche, his teacher, in the 90s. You treat a being like that as if it's the Dalai Lama or more. Because in truth, any progress, at least that I've had, and any beings that I've connected to, have come from his capacity to translate this in a way that's meaningful. So I'm going to ask you please to connect to Facebook. Secrets from the Wheel of Life is the event, also under the 3 Jewels. It happens February 10, 11, 12 on 1st Avenue and 11th Street. He'll talk specifically around addictions. He wants to discuss the Wheel of Life and all the secrets and the code of the explanation of the Bhava Chakra, which is the Wheel of Life, the oldest of the Tibetan paintings, the all-encompassing explanation of Buddhism in an image. He wants to talk about addictions to states of mind, addictions to cigarettes, alcohol, sex, computers, busyness, work, depression, states of being. He wants to talk about how we use the code and the wheel to break free, peel off this addictive state into whatever thing. And I think it's going to be beautiful. And it's a much smaller venue than last year, so there's not that many seats. So what I need you to do, if you are coming or if you'd like to come, please connect, and there's a register button, and that will direct you to, I want to come to that event, and I want 2 seats, 3 seats, 1 day, 3 days. We have a suggested donation, and what we want to do with that suggested donation, which I encourage you to double, not just give the suggested donation if you can. We'll give half of that to him and half of that to the 3 Jewels, so they can keep paying rent and keep bringing stuff like that, which would be a better outcome than in previous times. I'm sort of embarrassed when we ask him to come and say, Geshe Michael, we can't pay the rent, can you help us? And he'll go, oh, here's $100, can anybody else help? You know, and that's sort of embarrassing, and I'd like him to feel like he's loved and revered. If you have that feeling, then yeah.
We still need volunteers too?
We definitely need volunteers. So Stephen is looking for volunteers. There's a bunch of things from the 3 Jewels. We'll go to the venue, we'll register people at the door, people get readings, homeworks, and then we have a beautiful experience there. But the experience requires sound and lighting and ushers and food and coffee and etc. So if you can volunteer, 10, 11, 12, you contact myself or Steve, yeah, at the 3 Jewels here, and we can meet and marry you up with people that are doing the main room, the flowers, the decorating, the tables, the bake sale, the books, the moving of equipment, etc., etc., the selling of tickets, the promoting online, etc.
Are we recording this on video?
We are recording on video, but we are not live streaming it. There's no Wi-Fi in there. Well, there is Wi-Fi, but there's protections because it's a school. You're restricted on what sites you can use, and we can't use Ustream. So it will be recorded, and it won't be live. So it's just precious for the people that are in the room, and it's way smaller than the last one. So please come with the nicest heart, and please share. Go to the Facebook event, tell us you're coming, link to the registration, register, and if you want to volunteer, offer to Steve or myself, and we'll connect you. Yeah. It's going to be a beautiful thing. And then that same week, so that's 3 nights, if you take the time, if you're like many of the people I've met in 2014, they're a crazier version of what they were in 2013. For some reason, people are like super spinning. My experience has been, I don't know what yours is, but people are spinning. Yeah, they're like, the monkeys are turning to, like, Planet of the Apes returns. But I like the idea of saying, for these 3 nights, I'm going to think about what I can fix in terms of what I can connect with in terms of my addictive behavior towards the world. 3 nights. For New Yorkers, to peel off the cycle is hard, but imagine for 3 nights you really make headway in that thing that you're spinning in. It would be lovely. It would be lovely. So please come, please connect. Then if Stephen showed me this, I'm the coordinator for that event, so it's been insane to try and get 1,000 people organized from over there to over here to the reading. Everyone wants information. It's been fun too. So I'm organizing the Wheel of Life, right, which is wisdom from the Wheel of Life, Tibetan wisdom, metaphor, wisdom, right? That same week, on Friday, is Valentine's Day, love, compassion, love, right? So 1 week of compassion, love and wisdom. Love and wisdom, 2 huge events. We have a huge event in Bushwick at a chocolate factory, a fundraiser for 108 called Bushwick Love. And for those of you who are used to the telephone computer things, hashtag Bushwick Love and you'll find us, right? And this is a fundraiser and celebration for the project that was born here, 108 Lives, and we're raffling a free ticket to Nepal. The tickets are sold here for $20, and you can get a free ticket round trip with the 108 team in April through May. And there's going to be 2 international DJs, plus Pete from here is going to DJ. Like, big names are coming to DJ.
Pete.
Pete Heat. Yeah.
Oh, Pete.
Pete Heat, and we have Gavin Russell from LCD Sound System, and we have Chufu, like the official Lady Gaga remix of DJ. Like, amazing, right? Gavin sent me a text saying, "Thank you so much for letting me do this." He's like, this famous international thing, he's so honored to help, and I'm like, oh, thank you.
Do you have to be there to win the trip?
You don't have to be there to win the trip, but buy the ticket and we will announce your name, and if you're not there, we'll pull up another one.
And you will never know.
No, it's going to be fun. There's going to be, the theme is love, so there's chocolate at a chocolate factory. It's actually a big warehouse with a glassed-in chocolate machinery, so like you're in the Willy Wonka, Bushwick Willy Wonka.
Is there a chocolate pool?
Yeah, there is this huge thing, but you can't go in it, it's glassed in. But above it, the DJ, the mixer, the lights, and there's a wedding booth. You can get married for one night, you get vows for one night to marry anything you want. The fridge, the boyfriend, the girlfriend, the dog.
Oh, the
But
freedom.
you pay to get married, right? And you get the certificate, and all the money goes to the kids in Nepal.
And photos. That's Friday or Saturday?
Friday night, Valentine's night, yeah, and then you get the photo booth, you get snapshot of your bride and groom, and you get a love elixir, so there's special herbalists making love elixirs, which are made out of aphrodisiacs. I don't know what that is.
Wait, can you get married several times in one night?
Yeah, you can, yeah. So long as
many
you
people?
donate to any people you like. Yeah, you just got to treat them with love, that's
Right.
right, yeah, and there's lots of dancing and food, and enjoy yourself, and just dance and love. And we'll be showing, there's also some auction items, and restaurants have offered dinner for 2 and massages, and we're just auctioning them off, and there's art, and it's just a nice party of love. Yeah, so if you're single or if you're married or if you, doesn't matter, come and love each other. It's going to be fun. So that's going to be a crazy week. Please find them on Facebook, connect, and it'll be lovely. Now 5 minutes for ACI 8. So here is the 3 things that I think the basis of this course. So for the next whatever time for this course, we're going to cover this idea of the realms of existence. Like we did in the meditation at the beginning, why are you that thing? Why are we human? And within human, we have several subsets of human. These are states of being. These are realms of existence that we can see and verify. There are also other realms of existence, some that we can see, and some, according to the treasure house of knowledge, the Abhidhamma Kosha, the Buddha and the rest, there are realms that we can't see. And with logic, you can conceive of states of being that are not the state of beings that you are limited to seeing within your senses. So one you can see is the state of being, the realms of being animal. So you put animal in this room, you put human in this room, you have 2 completely different experiences of these realities we share. It's feasible to consider that there are other landing places for being than just those 2. So this course deals with all the landing places, the realms of existence, as defined in the Abhidhamma Kosha and then in the commentary for that. Yeah. So one big chunk is going to discuss this 3rd chapter of the Abhidhamma Kosha, the realms of existence. That chapter also deals with planets and space and time, and we'll cover a little bit of that. The point of that, and here we get into tricky ground depending on your level of practice and your level of learning and your experience with this content. Some people teach these things to be totally literal, and there will be a hell realm and there will be a thing. And some people teach it to be completely and utterly psychological, and only psychological. It's a metaphor for how a human experiences things. And the way I've learned it and the way I've internalized it is somewhere between those 2 extremes. And I don't know how you're going to connect with it, and I don't know how you're going to internalize it. And whatever serves you, you need to connect with it that way. So you will be presented in the first part of the course with all the possible landing places where sentient beings can be, in all the forms that were described, from the Abhidhamma Kosha, from the time of the collection of sutras, etc., all the way up to the commentaries that we'll study. But why? Why do that? We're sort of building a house backwards. Towards the end of the course, we're going to study and practice death meditation, not to get scared and walk through a practice round of dying or anything like that. Oops, did I do that? Yes, I did. Let's go back. Is to really consider for the short time that we've got together, what happens at that moment that we see everybody in our lives go. Like 150 years from this day, not a single being will exist except a really old turtle that is currently on the planet as they are. There's no crickets that are now that will be here in 150 years. There's no birdies. There's no Javiers. There's no Hectors. Well, maybe some Javiers, not that one. Yeah. You know. So what happens to this thing? And if we've done the ACI 4 and we looked at the difference between material and mental, physical, non-physical, and we've done that whole thing, we'll get to dig around the only certainty we can be sure will happen to us. And the only thing we tend to avoid preparing for, which is we stop being this way. So what happens? I don't know, it doesn't matter, nothing's going to happen. Everything else that we occupy our minds with, do I look good in this? Do I get a haircut? Should I get a red car? All of that at the moment of death, none of it matters. So then we get to ask the question, what, if you really place yourself in that state, if we go through the death meditation practices, then you begin to ask yourself, what can I use at that time? What can be useful? Because you can't even say, what can I use at that time? What can be useful for that time? We'll get to spend time in that. And then we'll cover a little bit about the in-between state or the bardo. We're getting it from two main sources, the Abhidhamma Kosha, which is the treasure house of knowledge. Kosha is treasure house. Abhidharma means higher knowledge. Yeah, good. Treasure house of higher knowledge. Master Vasubandhu, 350 AD. His brother was a Sangha. The commentary by the first Dalai Lama, student of Tsongkhapa. Thank you very much. Here's a quick schedule of what we'll cover. Today is the intro. I was going to cover the desire and form realm. I'll only give you the highlights. Class 2 will do formless realm, 5 types of birth, ways of being birthed. Do we choose? You know, like that big question that we
C-section.
have.
Like a C-section.
Like that.
Epidural.
Macbeth.
Yeah.
We talk about pretas or hungry ghosts and animals on class 3 and the perception of the realm from that perspective. Class 4 will cover the human realms and pleasure beings or devas and asuras. Class 5 will cover the bardo. The Abhidhamma Kosha goes into an interesting section to try and prove this in-between stage, between births, if you like, the bardo state, and finding a next birth, what prompts a certain type of next birth. Class 6, the types of food. The food, gross food is just one type of food, but we talk about sustenance, the thing that sustains beings in these realms. We'll talk about the physical world, we'll talk about the hell realms, time and space, eons, cycles, and Buddhas. 9 and 10 will be on death meditation on path 1, 2, and 3. Now, it occurred to me also that the information that we're learning here really is a lineage, truly is. Like, you're it. You're the next folk that get this insight. Yes, there are other people getting other insight, but for you, it means you're it. And there's a responsibility, I feel, about internalizing, understanding it, reviewing the stuff on the shelf, and and seeing what is it that prompts me to think that I can reach a state of enlightenment. Like, where did that come from for you? And why do you have a class for it with content for it that's understandable in a language that you can interpret? Why is it that there's an available teaching for you? What the idea of owning the lineage is a responsibility that we share to the best ability that you have of this information. Because death is certain. I don't know when I'm next. And then for what use is it? For what purpose is it? So I wanted to consider that as we're learning this, the motivation for learning it should be deeper than, oh, that's interesting. Yeah? It's important to realize that the information that you landed in your heart in these courses is of use greater than thinking about it over a cup of coffee for breakfast. And so how do I learn it and what do I do with it? So I was going to cover the 3 suffering realms. So this is slightly different. If you've done any learning through the Wheel of Life, this is slightly different from that. So there's 3 realms of existence: the desire, the form, and the formless. We'll talk about that. But within these are cycles of suffering. Anything outside of this is not suffering. So tantric beings and Buddhas are not within these 3 realms. Let me see what else I need to cover for you. Did that change something? No. I'll talk about that in a second. The idea that realms of existence can be true and real and realities for us, like being human, needs to be considered in the Majjhimika Prasangika point of view. I'll cover it in detail next week. It's in the reading if you want to go and download it, right? But I wanted to say, what is it that we do as humans? What have we done in history, at least in the Western world, forget the Eastern world for a second, to consider the idea of realms of existence? And is this all there is? Is this all there is? So I thought I'd show you a little video that I found on the internet from about 350 AD.
It's obviously dialogue.
Yeah.
That's when YouTube just started, right?
Yeah, this is Plato's cave. See if you can hear that.
Let me show in a parable to what extent our nature is enlightened or unenlightened.
Can you see that?
Turn the lights on.
Envision human figures living in an underground cave with a long entrance across the whole width of the cave. Here they live from their childhood and have their legs and necks chained so that they cannot move and can only see before them, being prevented by the chains from turning their heads around. Above and behind them, a fire is blazing into distance. They see only their own shadows, which the fire throws on the opposite wall of the cave. For how could they see anything but the shadows if they were never allowed to move their heads? Between the fire and the prisoners, there is a raised way, and a low wall built along the way like the screen which puppet players have in front of them over which they show the puppets. You see men passing along the wall, carrying all sorts of articles which they hold projected above the wall, statues of men and animals made of wood and stone and various materials. Of the objects which are being carried in like manner, they would only see the shadows. And if they were to converse with one another, would they not suppose that they were naming what was actually before them? passing shadows. To them, the truth would be literally nothing but the shadows of the images. And now look again and see what will naturally follow if one of the prisoners is released. At first, when he is liberated and compelled suddenly to stand up and turn his head round and look towards the light, all this would hurt him, and he would be much too dazzled to see distinctly those things whose shadows he'd seen before. And then conceive someone saying to him that what he saw before was an illusion. But then now, when he's approaching nearer to reality and his eyes turn toward more real existence, he has a clearer vision. What will be his reply? Further imagine that his instructor is pointing to the objects as they pass and requiring him to name them. Will he not be perplexed? Will he not think that the shadows which he formerly saw are truer than the objects which are not shown to him? And suppose once more that he is reluctantly dragged up a steep and rugged descent and held fast until he is forced into the presence of the sun himself. When he approaches the light, his eyes will be dazzled. He will not be able to see anything at all but are now called realities. He will require to grow accustomed to the sight of the outer world. And first he will see the shadows best. Next the reflections of objects in the water, and then the objects themselves. Then he will gaze upon the stars and the spangled heavens, and the light of the moon. He will see the sky and the stars by night. Last of all, he will be able to see the sun. And not mere reflections of it in the water, but he will see the sun in its own proper place, and not in another. And he will contemplate the sun as it is. Will he not then proceed to argue that it is the sun who gives the season and the years, and is the guardian of all that is in the visible world, and in a certain way the cause of all things which his fellows have been accustomed to behold? Clearly he would first see the sun, and then reason about it. And when he remembered his old habitation and what was the wisdom of the cave and his fellow prisoners, do you suppose that he would bless himself for the change? Pity them? And if they were in the habit of conferring honors among themselves on those who were the quickest to observe the passing shadows, and to remark which of them went before and which followed after, and which were together, and who were therefore best able to draw conclusions as to the future, do you think that he would care for such honors and glories, or envy the possessors of them? Would he not say with Homer, better to be the poor servant of a poor master, and to endure anything rather than think as they do and live after their manner? Imagine once more such a one coming suddenly out of the sun to be replaced in his old situation. Would he not be certain to have his eyes full of darkness? And if there were a contest of measuring the shadows, and he had to compete with the prisoners who had never moved out of the den, while his sight was still weak, and before his eyes had become steady, wouldn't they all laugh at him and say he had spoiled his eyesight by going up there? That it was better not to even think of ascending? And if anyone tried to release another and lead him up to the light, let them only catch the offender, and they would put him to death.
enjoy. Let's dedicate. 우리 주심의 도착 리얼린 신내겐 파리 상계신 금이 대들와기 드러든 한가씩 맞추파쇼 이런 구랑나만 갈라감미야자야미 위에오그 스남 예셰 석석신 스남 예셰 요즘회 랑바두니 두가쇼. Thank you so much for coming, and I hope to see you next time we meet.
Thanks for teaching.
Thank you, Hector.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, good teaching.
Thank you.